So that is a straight cable. We're going to be using the Cat5 cable I have is indoor-outdoor riser cable. That's what I use on the car washes. You can use it for indoor or outdoor. Normally if you just use the indoor stuff, it cracks and breaks really easy. It's only made really to be inside, stapled inside walls. These are the fittings. This is an RJ45 fitting for a Cat5 cable. So we're going to be doing this pattern. So this is the top with the tab. We're going to be looking underneath. So you can see on this, so the tabs sit upside down. These are going to go on our cable as well. How this lines out: white with orange, orange, white with green, blue, white with blue, green, white with brown, brown. So you'll see how these are twisted all the time. When you get a Cat5 cable, solid orange wire is twisted with the white wire with an orange stripe. Same with the blue, green, and brown. Those are always twisted. Even on a crossover cable, which one end is always going to look like this, the other end looks totally different. This is called a straight cable, even though this white wire with the green stripe goes with the blue. If you notice, it goes the same on both ends. If you were to do white with orange, orange, white with blue, blue, white with green, green, white with brown, brown, on both ends, even though it's a straight wire through there, you will not have communication. We're actually going to test this cable once we're done. The white wire with the green stripe has to be next to the solid blue. Okay, let's jump in. This is my kit. This is extra. You have to buy this extra. This kit I got at Home Depot. Use it a ton. But this is going to be what's going to test our wires here in a second. Let's cut it. Set that over there. And let's get the other end of this. Okay. So this is indoor-outdoor rated cable. It's way more flexible, and it can handle cold environments, and then bending and twisting and all that. If you get the blue cable, that's only rated for indoor, when it bends, it can actually crack. They make a gray cable that's rated for indoor. I always prefer the indoor-outdoor when I'm working with it, but that's mainly because I've used it for a lot of different things. Car washes, meter boxes, coin boxes, communication, a lot of different things. So once I strip this down, what I just did, that razor will strip this wire. What you have to be careful of, it can also nick those wires. This is a tear string. So a trick I do to that, if I don't cut it long enough, I take a key. See how that tears the sheath? Then we will cut the tear string, because what you want on these, you want the sheath crimped. When you're crimping down, you don't want to crimp the wires. A lot of times you'll see it if it's not made right, the wires are crimped, and when the wires are crimped, and I'll show you what I mean by that when we get that far. When the wires are crimped, they can bend and break. You want this fitting, and you'll see in here, there's a little groove right there. You want that to pinch your sheath. I've seen it where the sheath ends here and there's wires inside. Well, that'll bend, it'll break. That crimp. And this tool does all that. You can see it crimps the teeth, and it also crimps where the sheath goes. There's two different things on there. This is for phones, this is for internet, for Cat5 cables. Same thing on this end. Let's do our tear string. Now what you want to make sure of, see how that wire's nicked? don't have my other cutters in here. Those are better for this part of it anyway. You don't want any of the wires nicked. You don't want to have any interference. Again, and we will, there. Okay, now to separate these, so you can see how they come. So you want your brown on the right, orange on the left, green and blue. Okay, so orange, blue, green, brown. I'm going to cut these a little bit shorter. Once I get them to where I want them, I'm really going to cut them. So kind of pinch a little bit, get those where they're separated. See how that green brown one needed to twist around the orange. So they're twisted inside here. White wire with an orange stripe goes with orange because we're doing a straight cable. Now, white wire with the blue stripe is going to go with a solid green. Okay. Let's bring the white wire with the green stripe over to the blue, and white wire with the brown stripe will stay on that. That's usually always on the right hand side. If you do a crossover cable or a straight cable, white wire with the brown stripe and brown are on the right side if you're looking at the bottom of the connector. So now I'm going to cut those flush. Okay, so we have to feed those in, and you can see how that is going to crimp on the sheath. My wires go all the way to the end, and I am going to, see how those teeth bite down? Okay, that is our first end we've successfully put on there. Now, I did forget to add that, but I wasn't worried because I can still add it now. So that will go down to the opposite end. There's that end. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same thing. First on this one though, I need to put this on. Otherwise, I'm going to be cutting the whole thing apart. Cut this pretty close. And let's push on our end. Okay. What this is going to do, I'm going to plug this end in here. This is going to tell us if we crimped it correctly. This is correct. Top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, 6, 4, 5, 7, and 8. If I had a ground, this would be flashing. If I had a ground, this would actually have a sheath inside of it with the grounding wire. This would have metal around it, and then it would tell me that my ground is good. So it doesn't matter that I don't have a ground right now because I don't have that on this wire, but that's how you want it to ring out. So this is good. We can go plug this in the computer, and I use internet. So if you ever need to do that across your house, you can do a, normally if you go over 100 feet, 150 feet, they want you to do a range extender on there, which actually boosts your internet, boosts the service, boosts whatever you're doing, just because it's so far to carry data. So that'll be another video if we talk about range extenders. Otherwise, you can do wireless internet, wireless routers, things like that to boost it. But if you ever have to run a landline, an LAN line, cat5, that would make it easier as if you had a range extender, if you had to go for a long, long distance. So one more thing I wanted to show you, you will see how that pinches down on the sheath, not on the wires? That's what you want. Then it bends with the sheath. It doesn't bend the wires and break the wires. Always want to crimp down on the sheath. Make sure your ends go all the way to the end. Your wires go all the way to the end. And then these, when it's punctured, you don't have to strip these wires because these will poke into the wires themselves with that tool. You do the same thing when you're making a phone line. Phone lines are actually normally 4 wires instead of twisted 4. Twisted 4 is 8 wires. Phone lines are just a flat 4 cable. Just has 4 wires on it, flat. And that's how you make your Cat5 cables. Cool. Okay, so if you want to know about a crossover cable, white wire with an orange stripe, orange, white wire with a green stripe, blue, white wire with a blue stripe, green, white wire with a brown stripe, brown wire. When you flip it over, this is white wire with a green stripe, green, white wire with an orange stripe, blue, white wire with a blue stripe, orange, white wire with a brown stripe, brown. Trying to see if there's an easier way to see that. But this is how that one would ohm out. You really will never use this. That's how that one ohms out. So, but you're really never going to use that, but that's a crossover cable.